Hi, it's David Taylor, or Mr Pelargonium as people like to call me, with another video blog for the Pelargonium and Geranium Society. It's the early part of February. We're at 19 weeks tomorrow to the national show. So we're looking at stopping plants now. That is cutting back, getting them ready to flower at a specific period for June shows. So let's have a look at this. Hi there, well, it's good to see you again. Filming this on Friday the 5th. Now it's that stage now where it's 19 weeks tomorrow. I'm filming this on a Friday, so 19 weeks tomorrow, the 6th of February, when it will be 19 weeks to the show. We generally say around 18 weeks for double flowering zonals. So anything that you've got that's double flowering, to time for a little tip stop or something just a little bit harder, it's around about 18 weeks to give your plants that little chop back and a little shape up to get them looking ideal for the exhibitions in the round about the middle part of June. And I'm going to run through the procedure, maybe the slightly different types of stopping that you can do. Now, as a general rule of thumb, tip stopping is what we're sort of really looking to do at the specific timing periods. And I'll put a little chart on now just so that you can see the specific timing periods for the various types of flowers. So double flowering and single flowering zonals. Then all of the single flowering special varieties like the regals, the angels, uniques, scentids, all of that type of plant. Which are generally a little bit later. We're looking at around about 16 weeks for those. So a little bit later in the month, towards the end of February, and even maybe into early March. So that's the periods that we're looking at for the stopping of your plants. Now, it always takes a few years to really sort of develop an appropriate timing for your own particular plants. Now, I know here, for instance, anybody that knows me, that follows the YouTube channel here, I need to stop my regals really early, and I stop them back in the turn of the year, actually, very end of December and early January, because my regals take quite a long time to develop. But because I don't do any sort of autumn stopping, I actually have to give them quite a hard stop. And that is a general rule for all of them. The harder the stop you do, the longer time you're going to need for those plants to burst through, to grow back for flowering in the June period. And for my regals, they get quite a hard stop, so they take 26 weeks to really grow through. And I've done a number of my double zonals already at around about 20 weeks, because they've been cut back relatively hard. So I've given them another couple of weeks to be able to just, get going a bit longer and be able to flower in that June period. You can never get the science of stopping perfect, because every year we get slightly different weather conditions. It depends really on how the spring develops, how warm the spring is, how fast the plants grow. So you ideally could do with stopping your plants over about a 2 or even 3 week period, so that you generally ideally get one that's perfect on the day of the show. Now, if we have a little look up here on this shelf, you can clearly see there's 2 there that I have stopped, and there's 2 here that I haven't. And I mean, this one is actually looking almost sort of quite nice. This has grown through. This is a bold cherub. So this will be given a stop. This probably won't be stopped that hard. And the thing about bold cherub, I find that it always grows very uniformly and quite strongly in the spring. So I'll be able to give this, I will certainly get rid of all the blooms, strip it down, strip a number of the leaves off, and give it a stop. Let's have a little look then. I've got a few examples of plants that I've cut back and chatted through them. So let's just have a look at those now. Okay, so this is one of my Shrivenham Star seed parent crosses. This in particular was crossed with Susanna Taylor. It's a nice deep pink, this one, fairly deep pink, just quite nice. But it's typical of one of the plants that I've had that's become a real mess over the winter. So I'm stopping this very early, just under 21 weeks. It's going to be a full clean up, so I'm going to run through what I'm going to do with it. It's going to have a fairly hard stop. A lot of the dead and little dying stems that I've got in the base are being cut out. It's going to be cut back really hard, and this is vital when you're doing this. You need to do it very early. You need to ensure that if you're going to cut back hard in the spring for summer shows or summer exhibition, you cut back very early. Normally for a double like this, it's 18 weeks. But as I said, I'm doing this at nearly 21, purely because I'm cutting it down so hard. This is a dwarf type plant. It's in a 6-inch pot. It's in the what we call the Floribunda class, so it's an overgrown dwarf. So let's just see how we go. Some bits of this I'll forward through quickly so you can see what's going on. First thing, of course, is always give your knife a good clean. Any leaves that have just got a hint of botrytis on, I will take off. There's going to be a lot of dead stipules that I'll strip off, but we'll probably do that at the end. There's a little bit of a dead stem there that I'll take out, but a nice young shoot underneath. Remembering, of course, that all shoots will need to be stopped unless they're very short. Some of these very short ones, maybe down here like this one here, I will probably leave. Certainly take off any little blooms that are starting to develop on it. We'll see at the end what the shape of the plant is like. Now, another little tip, when you cut a little stem back that's got a little bit of dead or dying, rotting matter on it, give your knife a clean after you've cut that off, because you don't want that getting into the other little stops and nicks that you're going to be making onto the plant. Now, I've gone down fairly deep on that one, but I can see I've got lots of shoots coming down along this stem. The other key thing, of course, is getting light into the centre of the plant. Well, now looking down, this branch here is really sticking out. This will have to be balanced, so this is going to have to be taken right back. So if you look all round this side, it's more or less level with the pot. Right, I think this could break out from there, so I'm going to take this double break here. That one's rotten, so that one's no good anyway. Got a great bit of rot in there. This one's growing far too high, so I'm actually going to take that off there. So that's a lovely healthy shoot there, you can see. And I've got a break just coming in there, and another one there. I've got loads actually. Just see a small little teeny break there, and one there, and one along the other side. So a lot of breaks. So that's nice clean edge now. The other thing, of course, to remember is that this plant is pretty dry. It's bone dry underneath. Now the reason I'm doing this early is primarily because of this sort of thing. That is a really hard cut, and for that to break out, come through, grow on and flower, that is going to be 20 weeks. The dead stem, but I've cut that right to where it's clear, so that's the key. Got all of that dead part off. Now the important thing with this is that this is not going to get watered now for quite a while, primarily because I need all these wounds to heal, but there's hardly any area on the plant to warrant watering anyway. There's hardly any leaf. There's a little bit of leaf, but you know, that's not going to need much in the way of moisture to survive in the coming weeks. I'm just looking down now at the top. That's more or less rounded, marginally short this side. But what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to stop that one because I want that to grow out a bit quicker. As I've always said many times, it's better for something to be too big and have too much flower to take off rather than it to flower late and it completely misses the shows in their entirety. So there we are. Just stripping that off because the primary thing now is to get light down into the body of this plant. But I think we're almost done. The key thing now is going to be going round and getting all these dead stipules off. So it's much cleaner, it's all nice and open, there's no dead or rotting material on it whatsoever. The odd stipules I'll be taking off. I'll probably see a few over the coming days which I'll just nip off. But it's nice and clean now, and we'll have to see how it goes. This one's a sort of double pink, mid pink, darker than Shrivenham Star. There we are, nice and clean, ready to go, and just watch it develop now over the coming months. Right, now with larger plants, it's always, I mean, it's up to you really how you take them forward. I mean, I've got some large potted plants here. This is an older variety called Burden's Country. I give this a little bit of a clean up about a week ago actually. Just cut off a few of the stems that were looking a bit tired and a bit, you know, they had lost their growth strength basically, so I cut them off. But, you know, it's quite a uniform shape. And realistically, it's entirely up to you. If you've got a good dense plant like this and you want it to get really big for the summer period, you can just let it go. I could give this a little bit of a tip stop just to get it to bush. But I think I might let this one go this year. It's looking quite tidy. And this will become a really sort of big plant. Of course, as and when it gets really big, say as the summer goes on, you can always put sticks around it just to hold it up, and I might do that. But in this case this year, I think I'm just going to let that run now. I give it a little bit of a tidy up and a strip down. It needs a little bit of water now. It's still not really growing because, as I say, the weather's still been relatively cool. But once it really begins to see the difference in the light levels, you will start to see a real perking up of the leaves. Okay, so I think we're just about there for today. The fact that we've got this really supposed cold spell really coming through next week, again, really shows that you don't want to be, pushing your plants on too quickly by potting on. Just bide your time. Just bide your time during this period. I'll probably come back in and do the next video towards the end of the month when we can start sort of moving on some of our plants and getting plants potted up to sort of grow on for the summer period. So we'll have a look at that then. The main thing is, of course, stay safe in these rather bizarre times we're going through at the moment. Look after yourself, and I'll see you again very soon.